Are you an old soul? Here are 10 signs to help you tell. Feel a bit different than people around you? This could be why. Have you ever felt like you think or see things slightly differently than your peers, in a way that you seem somehow removed from the world and its worries? I know I have. Have you ever caught yourself missing a more simple life of days gone by? Somehow you feel like you've been there. You might also feel out of sync with what your friends are concerned with. It's as if you know something they don't, but you're not sure what that something is. You see the bigger picture. Are you an old soul? You may be one if people have told you from a young age that you act older than your biological age. But this isn't just about maturity. As an old soul, you may feel that you possess deep wisdom, unique talents, high emotional intelligence, and often a connection to nature. I'd not want to oversimplify. An old soul is a complex individual with so many layers below the surface, so I've compiled 10 signs that may suggest you're one of them. Characteristics of an old soul. In my research and experience, old souls tend to have some characteristics in common. First, they're somewhat isolated and alone. Now, don't get me wrong here, because alone doesn't mean lonely. On the contrary, old souls often thrive off of this alone time, and they may feel connected in other ways to nature, the universe, and even humanity. Although they often sense they can't relate, they're often unable to enjoy the things people their own age consider fun, so when they were kids, they may have preferred the company of an older age group among their loved ones, neighbors, and in the community. The things that were, or are important, to their friends didn't matter to them, and they may feel out of place because they lack this connection, but it often drives them to succeed in life. Old souls have a vibe of solitary existence, so they approach life with a greater sense of knowledge and wisdom coupled with substantial inner wealth. As a result, their outlook on life is vastly different and more mature than those around them. They're often an empath, meaning they can strongly feel the emotions of others, sometimes to their detriment. I can show you how to draw that healthy line. They may have an exceptional talent, which may have developed at a young age, leading others to name them a prodigy. Speaking of kids, when an exasperated 10-year-old says, "Kids today are so," or a 28-year-old who says, "In my day," an awful lot, someone might think they're just modeling older adult behavior. But it's often a sign of something more. Okay, now, here's the part one. Like, looking for an amazing life partner, or want a true friend? Do you yearn for a more sensual experience with a lover? Old souls fit the bill because they're more in tune with their emotions and those of others. If you like honesty and truth, this may be your soul mate because they see things in a different light. And that's refreshing if you're like me and want to spend time around people who are authentic and connected to their emotions. Don't let the old be misunderstood. If someone calls you an old soul, I hope you'll take it as a compliment, because old souls are rare. There are nearly 8 billion people in the world today. And of them, only around 10% are believed to be old souls. What is an old soul? An old soul is an individual who experiences the world as if they were older than their chronological age, thus the use of the word old. An old soul likes sitting with a wise person and connecting with people, frequently with older people on a deeper level, but as outsiders looking in, a nagging feeling of not belonging in this world, or this period, may exist. Some special characteristics to look out for. Vision. Old souls have a sage-like quality that puts them into their own little world. Desire to test others. They will challenge the status quo and those who they feel aren't seeing the whole picture. Pride in knowing something others don't. They're confident that they see how all of the pieces work together, and that gives them a sense of purpose and often joy. Free thinkers. Rarely do I see an old soul who wants to conform for the sake of anything. That's how it's always been done, just because I said so. Status quo. Old souls struggle with these concepts and challenge them from a young age, which can make parenting this unique young person difficult for those who don't recognize why their child seems non-conforming and even obstinate. 10 signs you're an old soul. Are you an old soul? Let's find out by looking at the telltale signs and traits. 1. You make time to be alone. You need time to think, feel your feelings, and focus on your own personal development. Sometimes people call introverts by this name because they prefer solitary activities, but not every introvert is an old soul. Additionally, old souls are selective about who they spend time with. They don't like surface-level relationships with emotionally unavailable people, and it may take them a while to find that person with whom they connect. When they do, they may become soul mates, this other person may or may not also be an old soul. They could also be well-rounded with an open mind and heart, or someone who has done a lot of personal work on themselves. 2. Knowledge, truth, and wisdom are your sanctuary. You inherently understand these truths profoundly. Wisdom equals contentment. Yes, knowledge is power, the truth does set you free. Can I get an amen? In other words, you know what's important in life, and you're not likely to get caught up in what isn't. You probably read a lot, and you've been guilty of spending too much time trying to find the answer to something when you had somewhere else to be or something else to be doing. You lose time when you're in this learning zone. You prefer to go reading or studying rather than going out to parties. You want to learn everything you can. You're naturally curious about almost everything, although you've probably narrowed your interests out of practicality over the years. You long to find more information about the things you want to know. This isn't surprising because you've dedicated your lifetime, possibly lifetimes, to learning and growing. You're so happy when you listen to people talk about how things used to be done. Whether it's cooking, farming, shopkeeping, sewing, or anything, you were born sensitive and connected spiritually, although depending on life experiences, some sensitivity may have been cast aside for survival. 3. Spirituality is an integrated part of who you are. You may have gravitated toward one specific religion or see the truth in all religions, but either way, you realize that religion is just a set of rules, while spirituality is a deep sense of connection, love for life, and gratitude for the abundance in your life. Old souls tend to be sensitive and spiritual, so the fact that the universe is vast and you're not the center of it brings you comfort, and it drives you to do your part to help humanity. The environment and other causes, so unlike other people who tend to pursue worldly objectives, you do things for your self-development. 4. The past feels like it's a part of you. You feel so connected to people older than you, and you want nothing more than to soak up what they know about things before you were born. This isn't to say that you'd want to give up modern conveniences to go back to the old ways, but you know you'd be alright and figure it out if you suddenly found yourself in a bygone time. History fascinates you, and it wasn't just your favorite subject in school. You've continued to learn, and I'll only guess you've also really broadened your horizons over the years, learning history from the viewpoints of different people, cultures, and countries. Am I right? 5. You aren't materialistic. I'm with you. It's amazing to have nice things. I speak all the time about creating a life of affluence, ease, and joy, but your possessions don't control you, and you don't feel an overwhelming need to spend money on stuff. Things are just tools that you've attracted to your life to help you to make things more comfortable, and beyond that, you'd rather live through experiences, not stuff. Old souls often enjoy the simple things in life. 6. Middle and high school friends were few and or far between. This is not always the case, but many showed signs from young ages that more aware adults may have picked up on, and as a result, you may have liked different music, books, or activities that seemed older, and most people your own age may have considered you boring, nerdy, or some other epithet that was often used to be hurtful during your school years, although you probably embraced it to some extent, to fit in. You may have pretended to like certain things, but now you have more freedom to choose who you spend time with, so you don't have to do that anymore. 7. Overflowing with wisdom from a young age. If you are an old soul, people likely said you were more mature than your friends, even as a toddler. Yes, I've even seen children in strollers exhibiting the common signs before they can even speak. The actions of people your own age sometimes didn't make sense, and it created conflict because your perspective was much broader than others the same age. Oh, and your advice flows like water to anyone who will listen. You and me both. We know what we know and want to share it. You're the go-to person for sound advice and have a strong sense of the right path to take. You know how to ask probing questions, listen actively, and get to the heart of a matter, in your family. Let me guess, you're seen as the stable one, who is emotionally integrated, but also level-headed, so friends, family members, and co-workers naturally come to you for advice. 8. Home is a special place to you. I'm talking about the place and the people, because this is where you feel the safest, and it's where you are happiest. It's where your small circle of friends and family exists, and it's where you spend your time discovering inner truth and growing spiritually. Although if you're like me, you also spend a lot of time out in nature, which feels like an extension of home. 9. you enjoy spending time with older people. I'd wager if I were a gambling woman you feel close to someone older than you. You can tell this person anything and love to learn from them. You're just so down to earth and focused on what's important in life, which many people take a lifetime to discover. There's also a slower and more thoughtful way about you, so your energies match. 10. You just feel old inside. Do you ever have this feeling of weariness about the world that can feel tiring at times, like you've got the world on your shoulders? You're so curious, and time doesn't exist when you're seeking the truth, so you'll invest however much you need to reveal it, but that takes patience, and being an outsider looking in helps. Old souls and relationships. Physical appearance may offer initial attraction, but it's not a primary focus, since old souls know that it's what's inside a person that matters on both sides. Relationships are often long-lasting and loving, and there may be a desire for more sensuality than sex. The old soul can love with a more compassionate and caring heart than other soul ages, and they're not as concerned about being with someone who sweeps them off their feet and would prefer a comfortable, stable, nurturing relationship that furthers the personal growth of both partners. Old souls and work and leisure. They're hard workers, but they understand how to make work fun and rewarding, even if it doesn't appear that way to others. They're not likely to stick with one hobby for a lifetime. Instead, they're more likely to do something, get good at it, and then just give it up one day to explore new things. They understand that loving what you do for work is vital to happiness. If you have to force yourself to get up every day, you're keeping someone else's job warm for them, and need to explore other options. Purpose of the old soul: make a difference in a young soul world. They're here to break the cycle. They make a difference when they model an example of how to be in the world, either on their terms or the terms set by the society they live in. The self-reliant yet spiritually connected old soul becomes a model of higher consciousness to every younger soul encountered, because one consciousness can be a pebble in a pond that influences other people in their circle of influence to grow. In summary, are you an old soul? Let's recap some of the things we've learned. You prefer being alone and thrive in it. You're patient and can feel the emotions of others. Empathy. You have profound wisdom about the human experience that you want to share, but it also makes you feel out of sync with people. You're well integrated spiritually, emotionally, physically, and mentally. You can look deep inside yourself for answers. Worldly possessions and status don't mean much to you. You see the world a little mystically. For example, you may have thought before, I am not this body. It's hard to quench your thirst for truth and wisdom, which you often seek through older friends or relatives as well as books. Having an old soul is a blessing that I hope you'll value and explore. It allows you to live a vibrant and prosperous life, and you are bound to achieve contentment because of it. That is my hope for you.